and welcome to
Feature Film Club.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Wait, let me start earlier. I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
Lovely story.
You do not talk about...
I thought you were good at this, man.
This shit's weak.
So good, dude. I love it.
Oh, shit. What's up, y'all? I'm Nick Quintero.
And I'm Fabian Rodelo.
And this is Feature Film Club. And this is our first episode, so we don't quite know what we're doing.
Nope.
But it's totally fine. Yeah, this was formerly the This Is My Life Yo podcast, but now we decided to switch it up and just be two friends talking about movies because that is what interests us these days.
It's true, man. You know, beginning of COVID and all this jazz, we started watching all the Marvel movies together as a thing.
Yeah.
And he was working from home, I was working from home, and we were just talking shit over Messenger, and it was great.
It was so fun. It was a little different since we were watching them live and chatting about it at the same time.
Yeah.
But like, I think we both just got too busy to do that. But then I feel like after we stopped doing that, I just kind of carried on to like telling you about whatever stupid movie I was watching this week or whatever dumb, horrible TV show I was watching. And then we were just going back and forth. And I was like, let's just record a podcast talking about this stuff.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. And we're doing it anyway.
Absolutely. We might as well, it might as well make it an excuse to sit down and hang out and watch movies that we like or have never seen or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, why not? It seems like it'll be a good conversation starter. Like we have problems with that, you know.
For sure. You're very uncomfortable to talk to.
You're
so
the worst.
It's only I can only talk to you in person, so I was like, we have to have a podcast to be friends.
We never talk on the phone.
We do FaceTime every once in a while.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
that's kind of like in person.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's way different. Like I can't remember the last time I told my phone to call you.
I can't remember the last time I answered a phone call or used my phone as a phone.
Right.
Actually, it was probably yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
I make pretty regular phone calls to everybody else for some reason, but I've known you for so long. I think we've just always had that different style of communication.
Yeah, I mean, texting is just easier, but you know, let's make it more complicated by adding in technology and wires and headphones and microphones.
All these lights and mics and shit.
It's perfect. So when we started talking about doing this podcast, my original thought on how we should pick movies was like movies that one or the other or both of us hadn't seen. So it'd be like a recommendation,
right.
You know, I don't want to pigeonhole us into like how we pick the movies because there are movies that we both seen that we want to do, like the Marvel movies.
Right. And I have watched a ton of terrible ones, and I don't think I'll have to subject you to some of those. So.
Yeah, that would be nice. But also, I watched all of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I could have done that to you.
Oh, man, I'm glad you did.
But I will not. So I think it's kind of I think it's still a cool jumping off point on picking the movie. Like, I think it's one of what could be many ideas of how we pick it. And so for this first one, I suggested a movie that I was very surprised to find out that you had never seen, which is Hot Fuzz.
Yep, that's right.
How have you not ever seen it?
I don't know. I don't know why. That just was never a movie that I sought out to watch. I seen and I loved Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
You know, just speaking of that crew in particular.
For sure.
But for some reason, I just never made it a point to watch it.
That's so crazy to me. I mean, because like when we first became friends, like, you know, decades ago, I feel like one of the first things that we really bonded on were movies.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I think we were actually watching VHS tapes back then, which is pretty sad. And I feel like I actually got on Shaun of the Dead pretty late, like considering like when it came out.
Right.
But I know that it's a movie that we had like talked about before and at least referenced in conversation.
100%, yeah.
So I just assumed you would have seen Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, and I remember it. I remember the trailers for it. I just never saw it.
God, that's so crazy. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that now, as of now, you have seen it, so we can actually talk about it.
Yeah.
I feel like a kid in a candy store, like to talk about all the things that I reference all the time from that movie. You know what I mean? And it's like, damn, if I've ever said one of these things around you, like you didn't even get it, and I didn't even know. Like, I just assumed.
It would have flown right over my head.
Man, that's crazy. And I do assume we will talk about Shaun of the Dead a lot because there's a lot of like tiebacks and references.
Yeah. So I noticed that.
Yeah. So I took some notes. So hopefully we caught the same stuff. Actually, I hope that there's like things we didn't catch, but the other person did, so we could like point it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we should say before we get started talking about the movie in particular, but I mean, I think this is where we are.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
So a lot of you ask me how I make my podcast and how I get it distributed onto Apple, Spotify, and all the other listening apps. Well, I use this website called Anchor.fm. It's super dope, super easy, and it's free. So you can use their creation tools like within the website or the app and record straight from your computer or your phone without having to know anything about doing a podcast. If you're even kind of interested in starting one, I highly recommend that you start at Anchor.fm. So go to their website, tell them I sent you, or don't. They have no idea who I am. It doesn't matter. But trust me, this is where you want to start. I love using it. It's perfect for what I need. They distribute everything. They keep everything hosted so I don't lose it because this is my life, yo. I'm telling you, this is what you want if you want to start a podcast. So check out Anchor.fm to get started on your own podcast today. All right, so Hot Fuzz. I mean, what a great movie. I was very surprised to look it up and remember it was from 2007.
It's a long time.
Because it does not feel that old. Like Dana asked me, she's like, is this an old movie? And I was like, well, what do you consider old? And she was like, from when I was in high school. And I looked it up and I was like, yeah, you were in high school. It's like, shit, it's so old.
Yeah, dude.
And then I was like, fuck, I'm so old.
Yeah, dude, we're up there.
I was not in high school in 2007.
Yeah, no. I was already starting my career.
Yeah, same. Oh my God. But I actually, I think you remember my old roommate in LA, Lucas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was the one who put me on to a lot of the like Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg kind of, group stuff that they were doing, and Nick Frost. And so I always associate this movie with my roommate and living in LA and being out there at the time. But man, it's such a good movie. Like, I feel like it starts out super strong with that montage of Nicholas Angel in London, and he's like
a badass
super cop. Yeah. Like that's like he's like riding that bike all hardcore, and he makes that like skid turn, and that like just that voiceover of like all of his accomplishments and him getting stabbed by Santa and all that. It's just like so good, such a good like strong opening.
Bit stiff.
It's so good, yeah, a bit stiff. And I'm also a sucker for any like badass character named Nick or Nicholas.
Of course,
so I was like, yes. It sounds cooler in the British accent too.
Yeah, it does. I think everything does, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so. My God. Everything just sounds worse in American. It could be that as well.
Yeah.
No, so he's in the police station, and his other officers, his superiors, are trying to get him out of London, and there's a few cameos.
Yeah.
What's his name? We were just talking about him the other day. Martin Freeman.
That's right.
Martin Freeman, just like out of nowhere. His stepdad from Shaun of the Dead is one of the cops.
Yeah.
And I think the other cop was somebody too, but I don't have a clue who that guy is. I feel like I've seen him. I don't know.
I can't remember exactly where I've seen him either.
Yeah.
But he's been in a lot of things.
Yeah. I feel like there's probably like bits that make more sense if you know who the actors are.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
There's probably like funny stuff. But then they kind of pull that Simpsons gag of like when they're in Australia And they're like, we're going to take this to the prime minister.
Right.
And he's just like some guy.
Yeah,
From, they're like, prime minister. They kind of do that, like the chief inspector.
The chief inspector, yeah. You want us to call the chief inspector?
Take it all the way. All the way. Oh, my God. So good. So one thing that I really like about, I feel like so much more happens in the beginning of this movie than happens in the end. But they do that thing. They did it in Shaun of the Dead, too, where like everything or a lot of the stuff that happens in the beginning kind of flips and repeats in the end.
Yeah.
Like when they start to kick him out, he says, I kind of like it here.
Yeah.
And he like says that line again later. So there's like a
that's
lot of
exactly
that
right.
stuff. And it's almost like they do a really good job of like perfectly mirroring it.
That's true. That's a really good point.
Yeah, it's really good. So yeah, he leaves London. He takes his peace lily, or actually no, he doesn't leave yet, because he goes to his girlfriend that she's like cheating on him.
Yeah.
And she's in that like that white forensics outfit, and they're all in there.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's like, "Oh, you're sleeping with so and so." She's like, "Does he look like the kind of person that I would sleep with?" It's the other guy, and they look exactly the same. Hello.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Fuck, dude. It's
So
when I watched it, I was trying to make sure and remember key points, but being that it was my first time watching it, I was just trying to assimilate or to attribute the things that they were doing in that movie to previous works that they've done.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
just kept trying to think, oh, this must be a reference, or that has to be a reference. But I didn't give it its fair shake and just watching it on its own.
Yeah.
But there's definitely some callbacks
Yeah.
within it. But I think you're right, though. The very beginning of that movie is really cool with just the massive jerk off intro that they give to the super cop, and then
Yeah.
and then out of nowhere you can see that it's obviously going shitty somehow for him.
For sure. And it's so there's so much jam packed, but there's so many montage
Right.
moments.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
even small short ones, like when he actually does get on the train, and he's leaving or whatever. There's all these quick cuts, and he's just sitting there, and he's looking at his watch and
Right.
stuff, or his phone. You can see the bars going
Yeah.
down when he's on the train. And so he gets to the village, Sanford, something like that.
Yeah,
So
Sanford.
I think
is
it's
what it is.
Sanford. And he passes by all the the model village
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
signs and stuff that say the model village awards and whatever. And then he gets to his hotel, and there's the creepy old lady, and she's doing her crossword. Yeah. And he's or she calls him a fascist.
Yeah. That's
And
right.
he's hag. It's just stupid crossword stuff. Oh my God. It's so good. It almost felt like The Shining, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The music that's playing in the background is very much like The Shining is ending.
It's setting this tone, yeah.
So he goes to his room, the castle suite. And then he immediately gets up and to go out into the town, and he goes to the pub.
That's right.
And I got to say, it made me feel some type of way, because I want to go to a bar or anything so bad right now.
So bad.
And I was just sitting there just watching it, just salivating. I would love to go to this bar.
Yeah.
And not order a cranberry juice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I miss sitting. Definitely made me miss sitting at the bar. Just seeing them do the normal things. I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
that is normal life.
And their pints just look so good.
Yeah, dude.
Oh man. And then he sees all those fucking teenagers.
That's right.
Well, actually, you see Nick Frost in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And I was super I had only seen Shaun of the Dead maybe one time before I saw Hot Fuzz.
Okay, yeah.
So it was enough that I kind of missed it,
Mm-hmm.
I imagine knowing their movies and their group very well,
Right, yeah.
you catch it right away.
Of course, yeah, you see them.
But I felt the first time I saw it, I didn't know.
Okay, yeah.
Felt like I was very lucky to have that kind of
A
experience.
little surprised.
Yeah, with seeing how he ends up, pissing in the street and almost wrecking into him and shit.
He can't even put his key in the car
No.
to unlock it.
Oh shit. So he takes him and all those kids and everybody out to back to the jail.
Yeah.
and then when he goes into the police station, that's one of the things that I always say, because there's that guy who just like sits behind that glass.
Yeah.
And he always goes, nobody tells me nothing. Like I say that shit all the time and nobody knows what I'm talking about. Because it's stupid.
It is.
Why would anybody know?
I would assume, knowing you, I would think that would be a Simpsons reference.
Right? Yeah. So I think probably everybody just assumes that too, but it's actually this random character from Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz.
Oh my God.
Paperwork.
Yeah, so much paperwork. And they make it look all badass. They make it look like they shoot it like action scenes.
Yeah.
He's all like clicking the pen and shaking his hand.
He's like, I don't have a pen. No problem.
It's like, actually, funny enough, it's like cut like a scene from Fight Club. Like,
that's
it's all like gritty and green and like things are flashing on the screen. Like they really played that part up.
Yeah, that was nice. It really was nice.
So yeah, basically he wakes up the next day and he goes to the station and Nick Frost is gone out of the cell. But he's like, he goes and he's like, where is he? And then Nick Frost pops up on the side and he's like, who?
Who's missing? That's what he says.
Oh my God. That shit had me in tears. I was like cracking up when he did that. Man, it's so good. And then they go through the whole like cake and like everything's all like downplayed, like how soft that whole station is and the evidence room is empty.
Yeah,
and,
they're in the shit in there.
And then he's getting the whole tour and then he meets the Andes. And that was like where we started talking about this movie and how you had never seen it.
Yeah.
Because one of the Andes is that kid from Shaun of the Dead who tells him he's got red on him.
Oh,
the one who's like texting during his like meeting and shit like that. It's him. And then he also is in Prometheus.
Oh, that's fucking right.
Yeah, he's one of the dudes in Prometheus.
He is one of the dudes in Prometheus. Man, and I've seen that movie a bunch. I didn't even fucking tie it.
It's totally him. And I know that. I remember that's where we started talking about it because I said it was that same kid, and you were like, I've never seen Hot Fuzz, and I was just like, we're starting a podcast.
I love that was the catalyst.
The Andes, and he's like, oh, because talking to them is an uphill struggle. Oh my God. They hit him in the head with the trash can.
Yeah, that's right, dude.
And then there's that one female police officer who keeps making like sexual jokes. Like
they're all terrible.
Yeah, he's like something about getting the tour, and she's like, I've been around the office a few times. Like, oh my God,
can relate.
And then, of course, he meets the NWA.
That's right, the NWA, dude. The big room of white people.
That's amazing. I love that they did that. You know, they did it on purpose. Course, like, there's no accident there. But it's the Neighborhood Watch Alliance.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's when he meets all of the random people from the town that are involved in the Neighborhood Watch Alliance.
That's right.
And I always thought it was really crazy. Everybody's last name ends with an ER.
Yeah, and I started noticing that quite a few of them, the names were like occupations.
Yeah, and I was like, so I actually paused it and I rewound. I turned the subtitles on. I actually always watch with subtitles, but I was trying to see what all their names were, and I didn't pay enough attention later, but I wanted to see if like it actually had anything to do with either how they died or how they killed people. So I wrote down the names. It's Amanda Paver, Simon Skinner, Leslie Tiller, James Reaper, Reverend Shooter, and Robin Hatcher.
That's the way they all died, isn't it?
It's like vaguely like it feels like it, but I can't really like connect the dots.
Yeah, because like I can't remember. I know that the two, what, they were beheaded. Was that, or am I thinking of another show? But
yeah, no, they decaffeinated.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. Like they sound vaguely like it would be that, but I don't know. I couldn't really connect the dots
connect it.
perfectly.
Maybe it's an English slang thing. You know
Maybe
how they
so.
have, like words that aren't words, but they're meant for certain things.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of the other people in the town also had ER names too. So I was like trying real hard to pay attention, but I just couldn't really. I never landed on anything specific. So yeah, his job is boring. He fucking hates it.
Yep.
He has to go to the school and give his little speech, and the only person interested in it is Nick Frost.
That's right.
Danny, he's all like waving his hand.
He's all about it, dude.
He says, he asks if there's any questions, and he says, is it true that there is a place in a man's head that if you shoot it, it will explode?
And he's a cop.
Oh my God, I was dying. Nick Frost's character has like all of the dopest lines in this movie. I was laughing
really does.
so much. I wrote down a few of them.
Hell yeah.
So he, I can't even tell how much time has passed, but he's only been there for a little while. The newspaper writes that article about him and misspells his name.
Angle.
And everybody's, morning, Angle. Oh my God, such a good joke.
Hell yeah.
So then he gets the phone call that the swans escaped.
Oh, the deadliest fucking the killer of the whole town.
Yeah. The swan. I love it. He's like, he thinks it's a prank call, and he's like, Peter Ian Staker, piss taker, come on. And then it cuts, and it's the actor. Is it the guy from Logan who plays what's his name?
It's Stephen Merchant.
Is that his name?
That's his name.
Yeah. And
yeah.
I was just like, what the hell? It's crazy because it's like I've only seen him probably in like not newer,
Right.
but like I definitely did not know who he was in 2007.
Yeah, of
And
course.
so it's funny like seeing him again like that.
Yeah, he's like, I'm sorry. Okay, so Mr. Taker, Staker, Mr. Staker.
I really love that about watching older movies, especially movies that I have already seen
Right.
and like I'm vaguely familiar with. And then I'll go watch them again and realize that an actor in it was somebody that I know like very well now, you know?
Yeah.
Like in Independence Day, the president's daughter is Mae Whitman, who is from Arrested Development and Good Girls,
right.
and
That's Maybe.
yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, and so no, not Maybe. Maybe was the cousin.
Ann.
Yeah. An
It was
egg.
Ann. Yeah, May and egg.
Yes, yeah, and it's like funny. You go watch it and you're like, oh shit, that's egg. Oh man, I really love when that happens.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so after that, he basically is kind of like, that's when he's like around the town, and he's like, I think he's jogging at that point. He's like going through, or actually that's earlier when everybody's like yelling like "Morning Angel," but he's back in the town. Also, he was jogging in a polo shirt.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, your nipples are gonna be so chafed.
Oh, my
like
God, dude.
that fabric. Like,
Yeah, it would have been over.
oh no, thanks. I don't care how much of a super cop you are. That's
Yeah, you can't do shit against chafing of the nipples, dude.
no, horrible. But yeah, so he is. I think they're sitting in the car and they're like trying to. He's like kind of staking out like what's happening in the town and
that's
telling Danny that like there's always something going on, you know, and like you got to pay attention. And they see that kid in the purple jumpsuit.
Right.
He's like, why has he got his hat pulled down? He's like, because he's fuck ugly. He goes, or maybe he doesn't want you to see his face. Yeah, because he's fuck ugly.
Yeah, dude.
And then they see Lurch, the big dude with the
guy,
child's mind, and he's like, oh, he lives uptown with his mom and his sister. And are they as big as he is? Who? The mom and the sister. It's the same person. Oh, my God.
It's the same person.
Fucking brilliant.
Yeah, dude.
So then they go to the grocery store, and
Right,
that's the one guy. Blah blah blah. What the fuck is his name? I can't think. The main like villain guy, the guy who keeps popping up and saying crazy shit like I'm a slasher. I wrote it down up. Simon Skinner.
That's his name?
Yeah, Skinner. So he owns that grocery store, and they're in there, and I feel like they had this like perfect callback to Shaun of the Dead, because his assistant girl, like over the intercom, she says, what is it? It's like Sergeant Angel to the manager's office, Sergeant Angel. Like she says it like forward and backward. And it's like exactly like in Shaun of the Dead when Nick Frost is like, there's a girl in the garden. And he goes, what? And he's like, in the garden, there's a girl.
Yeah, that's right.
And I feel like in Shaun of the Dead, that's the like moment when all of their like things that have happened flip.
Oh yeah.
Because right before that, when they're out at the pub, he says like, you know, we'll something, get a Bloody Mary, come back to the pub for shots. And he's like, he says all these things
right
that happen in the movie because of that girl in the garden. Her name is Mary. And they like kill her.
That's right.
So she's their Bloody Mary.
She's the Bloody Mary, yeah.
There's like, I think he says something like stagger through the town, and they do that when they pretend to be zombies. Yeah. And he says, come back to the bar for shots. And they're literally with the shotgun there and they're like shooting. And so I feel like that's where everything flips in Shaun of the Dead. So I was trying to pay attention if that's where everything flips
in this movie.
Right. But I don't think it did because I think it was too early.
It seems like it. It was pretty early in the movie.
Yeah, but like the wordplay really made me like think like, oh shit, is this where it's about to happen? You know, like but I don't think it really happened right there. But he catches that like kid in the purple jumpsuit stealing biscuits.
Yeah.
So he does that chase and he's like running through the town again, and then he gets his Shaun of the Dead redemption actually on the fences.
That's right.
Never taken a shortcut
before.
He jumps over them and then does that flip.
Yeah.
And then Nick Frost tries to follow him, and he like bursts through that one.
Yeah, dude, like fucking Kool-Aid Man.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, so good, so good. There's also I think right before that chase happens, they're in the grocery store, and Nick Frost, Danny, is looking at the DVDs, and he's reading the back, like the descriptions or whatever.
Yeah.
And he says like something superhuman, you know, super cop or something. And then that's whenever Simon Pegg like runs behind him chasing the kid.
Yes.
It's so perfect. So then, oh man, he has another amazing line right there. So Simon Pegg catches the purple jumpsuit kid who kind of looks like Jimmy Fallon.
He does.
Which is weird. Yeah. And he brings him back, and Nick Frost is like, oh, that's so-and-so. That's Peter, you know, somebody's boy or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you recognize him? You knew who he was? And he was like, well, I couldn't see from that far. I'm not made of eyes. Oh my God. So good.
All the little, like, the wordplay that they do. It's so good.
It's great. And it's like written well. It's delivered perfectly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. I think that's one of the most impressive things that I found in their writing. I'm not sure who all the writers were for those movies, but I imagine they had a lot of creative input.
For sure. I know on this one, it's Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg are credited as the writers.
Shit, there you go.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably are the writers of Shaun of the Dead too. So
that's right.
Man, it's so good. It's just perfect. Like it's like a winning combo for sure.
Yeah,
those dudes,
exactly.
like it's always just like incredible.
Yeah.
So they arrest the kid. They say they're not going to press charges. They come in. Right. They're just like Simon. I can't remember his name anymore. Skinner. Skinner comes into the police station and says he's not pressing charges. Blah blah blah. Whatever. So then he's like pissed off or whatever. But Nick Frost is still like I guess that's really where it ends. Nothing happens there. I'm gonna cut that part out.
Word, yeah, not much happens right then.
So then the next scene, they're sitting in the car and they're talking, and that's part of whenever Nick Frost is like grilling him about the movies he's seen.
Yeah.
He's talking about Point Break, and he's like, "You ever fired a gun in the air and yelled ah?"
Yeah. That and Bad Boys 2.
Yeah. You ain't seen Bad Boys 2? That's how I felt you ain't seen Hot Fuzz. Like, I felt the same. But they're sitting in the car and they're doing the speed trap, and they have the shortest car chase ever. Like literally, like just a quick little another montage. Like car turns on, gas, gear, then like lights, and then they're just like pulled over. Like so good.
He's like, that was amazing.
Yeah. So then they pulled over the actors, the Romeo and Juliet actors.
Yep.
And he's like, you hypnotized him. Oh, shit.
Yeah, because he asked them, did you see how I did that?
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, you hypnotized him. And then he shows him his book, and he's like, oh, I use mine too. And it's the flip book of the cop shooting the robber.
Yeah.
Explodes.
Yeah, because like right before that, he had asked him if he had ever shot a gun. He had asked him all these different ways if he had shot a gun.
Yeah.
And then it was funny because then they tied that right back to the little comic, the flip book comic. That
And he shot him in that place in the head where it'll explode because the robber's head just blew up.
Oh my god!
And he goes, "Oh, you should see the other side."
Yeah.
Oh my god! So they end up getting tickets to go see that Romeo and Juliet from the station. Like the guy gives them tickets. And he's like, oh, we can't take tickets from somebody we were officially rebuked or whatever, and like tears it. And then immediately he's like, hey, go represent the station. I have 2 tickets.
Yeah.
So they go. Actually, it's really whenever when he says he has 2 tickets, Danny claps like a fucking gorilla or something. Like he's like clapping so weird.
Yeah, throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, it's so weird. But he does the orangutan impression in Shaun of the Dead.
He does, that's right.
And I was like, damn, is he doing that? Like, is that another callback? Like, or is he just fucking weird? Like, he was clapping like a monkey all the time.
Yeah, dude. Ape.
An ape. I'm sorry. You're right.
That was a great
shit.
little pause for ape.
It was perfect. Okay, so they go to the play, and it's horrible. The acting is atrocious.
So bad.
Poison. Oh my god!
I like that she kisses him, and then he like leans up to kiss her more and more. He's supposed to be dead.
We just watched 3 hours of so-called acting, and that kiss was the most convincing part. Yeah. And are they dressed like the Romeo and Juliet, like the Leonardo DiCaprio movie?
Yeah, they're like he's wearing like a Hawaiian shirt, and,
and she's got those wings on. And then they break into that "Love Me" song. Dun, 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 dun. I wish I could play that right now on the piano. Oh shit! It's so stupid. And then they go back to the pub, and I just want to drink more at the pub. It looks so good. It looked even better that time.
Yeah.
Like every time they show that pub, it just progressively like depressed me more. Like I just want to go drink with my friends at a goddamn bar.
I know, man. I miss like that, just the feel of it, the ambiance. But just above that, just getting a damn good beer at the goddamn bar.
I know, like drinking these wonderful Four Corners local buzz here at my house is fantastic. And maybe they would want to sponsor the podcast at some point.
I hope so. It is delicious. I almost drink it exclusively.
Exclusively. We need like jingle music behind that one. That'll be perfect.
FCB.
We'll do a video next time and we'll like drink them.
Yeah. Like all terrible.
But you know what? It's still not nearly as good as the experience of going to the Four Corners Brewery here in Dallas and drinking at their bar.
Yeah, dude.
It's the same damn beer, but it's just such a better experience just being out there.
I feel better when I'm there.
Me too. Me too. So they this is the scene when they find out that so before they find out, they actually the actors are there. They have a little conversation. He tells them to jog on.
That's right.
And they leave. They're in their hotel room or whatever, the dressing room. And there's a lot of like wordplay on the fact that they're about to die. Like he says something like, "Oh, I hope that's the last we see of them."
Right.
And then I think when he answers the door and Eve comes to the door, he says like, "We haven't got much time." Like there's a lot of just like real nice little like wordplay in there.
Little alliteration.
And then they get murdered.
Murdered.
Like axe to the head. Like,
Yeah, that's pretty rough. Dude.
it was insane. So much blood. And then they just like cut to his phone ringing in his hotel. He wakes up, he answers the phone, and that's when he says, decaffeinated. And then they just show their heads on the fucking ground.
Yeah, dude. I was not expecting that.
Incredible. So then he sees Skinner at the crime scene. He kind of leads on to he knows what's going on. So he's like suspicious of him.
Yep.
And that's when he tells Danny, like, they don't call them traffic accidents anymore. They call them traffic collisions.
Right.
And then every time he says it later in the movie, he always says collision after that. So good. So then Angel is suspicious, and he thinks that there's a murderer, and he's talking to the Andes about it, and they say that they're just going to go through the phone book, starting with Aaron A. Aronson, who turns out to be a real person later in the movie. He tells them that it's suspicious because there's no skid marks, and they can't stop laughing every time he says skid marks.
That's right.
And so then after that, he gets of course, like, everything's getting like diverted. Like, he can't stay on one case at one time. So he has to go to this report of somebody like trimming their hedges, like, that aren't theirs or whatever.
Yeah.
And they have that old cop guy who like just mumbles.
Yeah.
And the subtitle on that one while he was talking just says muttering with thick accent. And he's like, oh, why do we need the dog? He's like, oh, it's not the dog we need. And he's got to translate because that other guy's accent is so fucking
so
thick.
bad.
I can't even imitate that. I can't even mimic it. Like, it's so hard.
It's like practically mumbling.
It really is. And then they're just translating it all. It's so good. And then, like, I love that he's like, I think one of the ones where he tells him like he can't cut things that aren't his. He's like, man, and by the time he gets back to Danny, he's like, yes, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right.
But then they find all his guns and that fucking sea mine.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh my
so
God.
many fucking guns.
It's amazing. When they open the door and you see all the guns, Danny goes, by the power of Grayskull.
Yeah. And then later on he says the same thing.
Then fucking Simon Pegg says
Pegg's
it.
character,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's so good. But yeah, another one of those things that flips. Like, everything just comes back.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's a really good catch because I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch it again and then see what I can pull back from
For
the
sure.
beginning, 'cause
I wrote down some notes of some other things I noticed too, but I mean, there's so much shit. Like, I would have like 10 pages of notes if I wrote down everything.
a 5-hour podcast.
So I love that, like, that. I think that's when Danny convinces him to go to the pub and like drink, and they're like having beers, and they're having that conversation at the table. But it's so funny because Danny is like the like surrogate like love interest. You know what I mean? Like, most movies, almost every fucking movie in the world has a love story in it somewhere.
I couldn't hear what you said.
Well, I feel like every movie in the world has a love story.
What are you talking to you, Siri, bitch?
But like, I love that this one doesn't really have that, but Danny kind of plays that character. He's like telling him like turn off his big brain, and he's like poking him, and he's like looking at him with puppy dog eyes all the time.
He got him the big stuffed animal.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Like, it's like they still include like that kind of storyline without actually having it.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good.
And it's a monkey.
Yeah.
Or an ape.
Just clap.
Yeah.
That's when he does the ketchup packet trick on his eye.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then I believe that is whenever what's his name, the guy with the big house is like wasted, drunk, and he like pisses on the floor, and they have to take him home.
Yep.
And then of course he gets blowed the fuck up.
Dang, yeah, the whole house.
Man, that was crazy. You see him like fly up and everything.
Yeah.
And those beans, man. Why, like, why, like, I know that's an English breakfast, but they just looked real nasty for some reason.
Yeah, they did, dude.
They looked-
and I fucking love beans.
I do too, and I love English breakfast. I like, that was my favorite thing. I actually, from visiting London, when I came back the first time, I really, really wanted to get English breakfast tattoo. I think
No
I might
shit.
still do it, but I kind of think when I go again, I might get one there.
Yeah,
I feel like that would be the most appropriate.
I think I would have to agree.
So they kind of had a similar joke to the Bloody Mary thing with him because Danny says like, "Oh, we did get a little drunk." And it's because he's really short,
he's
and they're
small,
like
yeah.
holding him up, his legs are dangling.
That's right.
And he's like, "We got a little drunk, get it?" Because he's little. And it's kind of the same thing with like the Bloody Mary joke.
Holy shit! Yeah, you're right.
And then when they bring him in, the way he collapses on the floor when he goes inside the house, I have 100% done that myself. Absolutely.
Oh my god!
Like one time, I did that. I was when I was living in San Diego. I got so drunk. I came home and it was like raining and stuff. I was wearing boots and I couldn't get my boots untied, and I just collapsed in the front, like the entrance of my house. And I was like trying to get my boots off, and I got them unlaced a little bit, but the knot just got tighter, and I had to get my pocket knife and cut my boot laces off.
You're fighting for your life at that point, dude.
Yeah. It felt like I like fell down a mountain or something, and I was like trying to cut like the rope net that I was caught in or something. I mean, it was insane.
That's the only way you would have lived.
Yeah, for real. It was absolutely insane. So they go back to Danny's house, and that's where they're kind of continuing this conversation about like he can't turn it off, and what happened with his ex in London.
Right.
And he's really giving him the puppy dog eyes there, and he's like, "Oh, I can teach you how to turn it off." And then he gets up and he opens his movie collection, and it's like all the action DVDs.
Yeah, all the DVDs, dude.
So good.
He's like, which one do you want to watch?
Yeah.
No, do you want to
he
watch
says
first?
he says Point Break or Bad Boys, and he's like which one I want to watch? He's like, no, which one do you want to watch first?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh shit. So they're kind of cutting in like while they're doing that is whenever like he's getting murdered over at his house,
Right.
And then the whole thing like blows up, and they cut back to that Bad Boy scene where they say shit just got real.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like maybe that's the part where everything flips.
Yeah.
But still, I never really pinpointed like the exact moment, but it definitely flips.
It's right then. That's when I saw it, because as soon as that little movie snippet was on that flick, I was like, okay, yeah, this is when they're definitely making it an obvious, like, hey guys, we're
Like shit's going
about
down.
to pop off, yeah, or
For sure.
it's popping off.
And then they just immediately cut to that church, and they're doing that like that event there or whatever. It's like a carnival.
Yeah,
Gave
yeah.
me a lot of like COVID anxiety watching people at a carnival. And everybody but
So close to each other.
and they're like touching all the same shit, and probably bobbing for apples. Like, get the fuck out of here. But so everybody's basically dressed up except for Angel, and they're like that one guy's got the Spider-Man paint on his face.
That's right. With the glasses.
Yeah. And then one of the Andys calls him Knickerless Asswipe.
That should be your like drunk alter ego.
It's pretty good. Knickerless Asswipe. And then almost immediately after that, he calls him Nickelars.
Oh my god.
Oh,
dude.
so good. So they're trying to save the clock tower.
Save the clock tower.
Save the church roof. And that's whenever he sees the newspaper guy, and he tells him like, "Hey, come meet me behind the thing at 3 o'clock," and whatever. He had something important to tell him, and then he gets murdered. That scene is so nasty.
It's so rough, dude.
It's like it looks very fake, but it is so rough. That thing just embeds itself in his body, and his head explodes.
The whole shit, dude.
I mean, it's insane.
I remember watching it, was like, oh my god, all right, that poor guy.
Like, I kind of just expected him to get like smushed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a good old fashioned smush.
Yeah, a
But-
good splatter, a good comical splatter.
Yes, but it was not comical at all.
It was like horror film shit.
It really was. That was crazy. Oh my god. I wrote in my notes, news reporter fucking gets it. Oh my God.
The poor guy.
So then one of my favorite things, they quarantine off the like crime scene and everything, and it's raining, and so they're in their like, yellow rain jackets or whatever, and Angel has his like police hat and it's covered in plastic, and Danny's still wearing his cowboy hat and it's covered in plastic.
Yeah, when I was watching it, because like I had it on and that something had distracted me. I don't remember what. So I looked away, and I had just looked at it, and I'd seen Simon Pegg's character was wearing his hat with the plastic over it, and then I saw when it showed Danny, and I was like, he still has on the cowboy hat from earlier.
It took me a second because I was looking at it and I was like, why does he look so funny? Like why does Simon Pegg look like a cop, and why does Nick Frost look like funny? And I was like, he's wearing his fucking cowboy hat. So
it's
good.
all tiny.
Oh my God. So good. So then he's like, everybody's mad at him for like ruining that or whatever, and because they all think it's an accident. And then he ends up like in another montage, like figuring out what's going on by like reading the papers and putting shit together or whatever. And then he goes. So then they're back at the police station. He's got Danny helping him, and then he finds out it's Danny's birthday. So he goes to the florist to go get him a peace lily. And then that's when she fucking gets it with those scissors.
Oh, with the shears.
Shears. Right. My God. It was so brutal.
Right through the throat, dude.
Oh my God. But then he kind of like she says something about like the land that they're trying to sell because of the money that they can make off it. And then he's like putting all of the pieces together. He goes and gets the whole department. They go to Skinner at the grocery store, and he like gets his whole spiel of everything and like why everything's connected and why they did it. And then of course he can't prove it, and he just looks like a fucking joke. And then he says, "I'm sorry, but I think you've been watching too many films." And Danny pokes his head out, and he's like, "He hasn't." Oh my God. So good. So yeah, I mean, it really, this is where I was getting confused, because it kind of feels like the movie's like winding down a lot, because he's kind of like bummed, and he can't put his pieces together. And I think he's like eating, and somebody's like, "Oh, what happened to Leslie, whatever?" And he's like, "She slipped and fell on her own shears," like he's kind of like giving up or whatever. So I was like, man, it feels like it's winding down. But it really wasn't.
No, it's just like a bunch of loose ends.
Yeah. So they're sitting there in the cop car trying to figure things out, and he like kind of something happens, and Danny gets a brain freeze eating his ice cream.
That's right.
But I feel like there's a lot of stuff that starts like coming back up at this point, like a lot of the things that are repeating. But so they make an attempt on him. The big lurch dude comes and fights him in his apartment.
That's right.
And he knocks him out. He distracts him with that monkey. And then Skinner calls, and he pretends to be him, and he's just going, "Yarp, yarp." And he's like, he's not going to get back up. Narp. And then that's the point whenever Simon Pegg says, "Shit just got real." That's when he repeats it.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of like, they use a lot of foreshadowing in these movies. You know what I mean? Like they show a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, obviously everything comes back like at the end, but they like, out of all the movies I've ever seen, I feel like theirs have the most foreshadowing.
Yeah, they definitely like almost show their entire hand for the whole flick.
Yeah, for sure. And like, it's like, I don't know for sure, like watching it with fresh eyes, like if I would catch everything, but like seeing it after, you're just like, everything is laid out for you. It's crazy.
Yeah, if you really pay attention, but I guess that's the whole point of it. You're not expecting it, even though they told you what to expect.
Yeah, exactly. They're fucking great at it.
How crazy good it is.
I'm no good at that. Don't ask me to write anything. So then he stumbles upon their like weird cult shit where they're like chanting and saying like it almost sounded like whatever they were chanting was like kind of innocent. Like I can't remember what I thought it was saying, but it was like almost just like about winning village of the year or something. Like it wasn't even like Latin. Like, it wasn't like creepy shit. It was just them just being fucking weird.
Yeah, exactly.
So then he finds out that his theory was like he was right about who did it, but his theory was way off. They were just like, no, it wasn't because they were going to sell this thing. It was just because the house was fucking ugly. They're like, no, we didn't kill her because she knew too much. We just didn't want her to go be a florist in another town.
Yeah.
And it's like
all these petty reasons.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's so good. It like literally everything was just to win Village of the Year.
Yeah. All of it, dude. My God.
So they were talking there when they were like giving their whole like rant to him. I noticed something that tripped me out because this is from 2007. They said that they were going to make Sanford great again. Did you hear that? Did you catch that?
No, I didn't catch it.
Dude, I was cracking up. It was when they were all dressed in those robes and shit, and they were like telling him why he wasn't going to be able to beat them or whatever, and they were going to finish their plan, and they were going to make Sanford great again.
Oh, how did I miss that? Holy shit.
Oh, shit. So then he gets chased. He runs. He like falls into some like catacomb or something.
Yeah.
There's like all the dead bodies and skeletons, the kids from the pub, the old police officer he replaced.
That's right.
The great big bushy beard.
Yeah.
Who else? The living statue was in there.
That's right. They were like so worried about the inspector was so worried about that guy.
Oh my God. That was such a weird scene. He's just like, he fell into like some catacombs inside an RV or some shit. Like,
yeah, like out of nowhere.
It was so weird. So then he thinks that Nick Frost is bad because he kind of shows up and he's like glossed over and like kind of kidnapping him like along with everybody. Right, but then he fake stabs him with the ketchup packet.
Yes.
That's another thing that came back. And his book, he said, this thing has saved my life more times than I can, say or whatever. And he used that in his front pocket to stab him.
That's right.
And so he didn't.
He had it there.
Yeah. And because he gave it to him, I think, whenever he was like leaving, he was like, here, wait, you'll need this. And he like gives it to him.
Oh, that's right.
And so he put it there. I think that's what happened. I can't remember. But anyway, so Danny has the best line of the movie right here because he hears his dad is kind of bad, but he's like not really accepting it yet. Mm-hmm. But, he saw everybody was trying to kill Angel or whatever. Right. And he's like telling him like, your dad is bad too. And he's crooked. He thinks he's judge, jury, and executioner. And he says he's not Judge, Judy, and executioner. Oh my God. I guttural laugh. Like I was laughing today. I was like, oh my God. Judge, Judy, and executioner. But he helps him escape. He gives him his car. They have that brilliant shot of them behind the car and it's all lit red.
Yeah.
Oh man, that looks so good.
Looks badass, dude. Yeah.
So good. And then so he goes to his like gas station with the car or whatever. He decides he's going to go back. He sees the Bad Boys DVD next to the Point Break DVD and he's like decides to go back. And there was another callback because he comes back and he kills that, or not kills, but he like finds that first guy and he like attacks him or whatever. And then his mom like is on the other side of the fence with a shotgun. But earlier in the movie, somebody told him like, everybody has guns here. And he's like, who? And he's like, farmers. Who else? Farmers' moms. and then it's a farmer and his mom with a fucking shotgun. And then he takes he drop kicks that lady too. He kicks her right in the face.
Dude, yeah, no holds barred.
She's all bloody after. Oh my God. So then he gets that horse. He rides back into town, and all of a sudden it's a Western.
He's got like the fucking shotguns in the back.
So good.
Some bandoliers. And
then they repeat. They have another callback because he goes into the store earlier, and they're like on the radio. Somebody tells the shop owner that sergeant's coming in, or whatever. Like get a load of his arse.
Yeah.
And then she does it again and comes in and get a load of his horse. Yeah. Oh shit.
Fucking awesome.
So then he's just like full on shootout with the town.
Yeah, yep.
And that one lady is on the bike with two pistols, just like
Doesn't she pull it out of the basket? That's
Yeah.
on the front?
And it has the foam like perfectly cut out to her gun.
It was like 2 guns and like a wine glass or
like
something.
a thermos or something. Yeah, that's insane. That one lady just all of a sudden has her Kalashnikov and is like firing off this machine gun.
Yeah, the old lady.
She calls him a fascist whenever she's shooting at him.
That's right.
Oh my god. Then he gets into a sword fight, but he's using his police baton.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my god. And then of course they hit them with the full on Bad Boys camera shot.
Yep.
They're standing up and it's going around them.
Rotating around them, yeah.
So good.
I love it.
So good. Have you seen Bad Boys 2?
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen Bad Boys 3?
Yes.
I haven't yet.
Yeah. I had to, man.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I love those movies.
And is that going to be another one that we end up talking about? Because I haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah, man. There's great callbacks to both movies.
Oh, my God. All right. I need to check it out. I think it's probably streaming somewhere by now.
I think so.
We'll find out.
I got it other ways.
If anybody is wanting to watch Hot Fuzz, it is streaming on HBO Max.
Right. Yeah, it is. That's where I watched it.
Yes, me too. Today. Well, the second half of it today. So then they are, excuse me, these 4 corners getting me. There's more over there somewhere. More right here. If you know that.
Next to you.
Yes.
Drunk person. You.
This is my only beer. So yeah, they're running through the streets, shooting shit up. The Village of the Year judges are standing there.
Yeah, that's right.
Then they get into a car chase. They're chasing, I think, I can't remember who it is, but they're driving and Danny is shooting out the window saying bang, bang as he shoots his gun. I think they had already had the fight in the grocery store and then Danny's dad and Skinner got into a cop car and drove off, and they're chasing them. Mm-hmm. And that's whenever they find the model village.
Yeah, I was going to say that's when they get to the model town.
Yeah, and that's where Aaron A. Aronson is. Yeah. And he bites Skinner when he tries to kidnap him.
That's right.
And then they have a fucking Godzilla fight.
That's right, the model town.
It's so good. So they're sitting there fighting, and they end up like crashing all these buildings. There's like a fire hydrant or something exploded, so it looks like it's raining. Yeah. It's like hella dramatic. And then the worst injury of the movie. Oh. I think Simon Pegg hits Skinner, and he falls back and lands. No. Simon Pegg protects the kid. And he thinks that Skinner is down on the ground. He gets up. He's got a box cutter.
Yeah, that's
and he starts running at him. And then he slips on the model of his own store's truck and falls face first onto the church and gets the steeple through the bottom of his mouth.
Through the fucking mouth hole.
Oh, my God.
Like impaled. So he's like, this hurts so bad.
I'm going to need some ice cream.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to need some ice cream.
Oh, shit. That is the worst injury in the whole movie.
Yeah, not even the little steeple part landing on that guy's head.
No,
This
that
one,
was...
At least that guy died.
Yeah, for real. That thing through the mouth. Oh my God. What a nightmare. Like, that's gotta be that's gotta be like a phobia of mine now, is getting something stabbed through the bottom of my mouth, my jaw, like just through the fleshy parts.
Yeah, dude.
Out of my mouth. God, that's horrible.
It's so bad.
So then this is whenever Danny's dad comes back.
Yep.
And he takes Danny hostage.
Yeah.
And then he fights him off. He grabs the gun and he has his own Point Break moment.
Yeah, his dad's running away.
Yeah, and he's like
trying to decide if he wants to shoot him or not.
But he loves him so much, so he can't.
He can't shoot
So
him.
he fires his gun in the air and goes, ah. Did you see that coming when it happened?
No.
It's so good.
Not even.
So good. Oh, man. So then he gets in the car, drives off, and that's when the swan appears. The swan saves the day. makes him
fucking
crash
so on,
his
dude.
police car into a tree. And it's just like the tiniest little crash, too. It's like the slowest, tiniest crash.
It
Just
looks so cartoonish.
I know. It looks like the model. Like it looks like it could have been in the model village.
Yeah, exactly.
God, so amazing. So then that's whenever the helicopter shot, and it's like the Bad Boys helicopter shot again.
Yep.
And so like throughout the movie, they've been telling him that he's been getting phone calls from London that he hasn't taken.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that the police officers in London have been trying to get a hold of him because their numbers have gone down and they need him back. Yeah. And he has another call back. He says, I kind of like it here.
I like it here.
Yeah, so good. So then he basically says, no, he's not going to go. He says, he says, we got a lot of paperwork to do.
Yeah.
So they cut back to the police station. All the other cops there are now on his side.
Yeah.
And they're helping him do all the paperwork. And
they were like super against paperwork the whole movie.
yeah, and now they're all like, they've got all these people arrested. They have another one of those Fight Club style like montages of everybody getting like booked and stuff. And what do they say? Something about like the manpower that it takes to do all the paperwork.
Yeah.
And he tells that girl like, you don't mind a bit of manpower, do you?
Oh, yeah.
And then the fucking doctor, I think it's the doctor, or no, it's the guy who heads up the NWA.
Right.
He like comes out of nowhere with that elephant gun or whatever that thing is, that musket. Like, what the hell is that? And he fucking fires, and Danny jumps in front of Nicholas and saves him. Yeah. Oh my god! And then they end up so after Danny gets shot, then Nicholas kicks the trash can at his head, knocks the guy back into the evidence room, and he lands on the sea mine.
On the fucking sea mine.
And immediately just blows the whole fucking station up.
They thought it was a dud.
Deactivated. Yeah. It was not. Yeah. That whole place just comes down.
Yeah, dude, the whole shit.
It's crazy. I don't know how anybody survived that, much less Danny, who's full of pellets.
There. Yeah.
He just got shot in the stomach.
I don't understand.
And you know what? That dog is dead. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah, that dog is dead as fuck.
That dog did not survive that explosion. I guarantee you. Guarantee. So then they, of course, cut to 1 year later, and they make you think that Danny's dead by showing the Butterman grave.
Yep.
And it's just his mom, and they're putting flowers on it or whatever. But, of course, they got to give you that little trick. But, yeah, then it ends. They get a call. And they get in their brand new police car. They do their crazy peeling out, doing donuts and shit, whatever they're doing. And that's pretty much it. That's the end of the movie.
Yeah, it was definitely not what I was. Because I didn't have any expectations because I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
But it was fucking hilarious.
You enjoyed it after? Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, even not knowing what you were getting into, but having somewhat expectations probably.
Yeah, I think knowing what the humor I knew what to expect when they came with the humor, you know, but just everything else though that kept coming out of left fucking field with the way the people were dying. Or like
they're losing their heads and shit like constantly. Yeah. So much head trauma.
Yeah. That's like all it is. Everybody just loses their fucking heads.
God, it's so crazy. But overall, like, super dope, right? Like,
yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
I mean, of course, everything, almost everything that I've seen from those guys has been like brilliant and gold.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Hot Fuzz is like number 2 to me behind Shaun of the Dead, barely.
Yeah.
And only because Shaun of the Dead is such a classic, you know?
It's an iconic movie. 100%.
For sure. Do you regret waiting so long to see this one?
Yeah. I do. Because like as soon as I started watching it, I was probably like 20 or 30 minutes in. And I remember thinking, fuck, why did I not see this movie before? This is great.
I was genuinely shocked that you had never seen it.
Yeah.
I thought maybe there was like a reason, like you were going to like tell me some traumatic story of like get into a car accident on the way when you were supposed to go watch it or something. So you never went to watch it again.
Right. It was my bad juju.
Oh shit.
No, I never watched it for some reason, but I hate that I didn't.
Yeah, man.
It's fucking great.
It's so good. We definitely need to do Shaun of the Dead on here at some point, especially after this, because then we could tie the two together. But also the other movie that they have, the At World's End. Have you seen that one?
Yes.
I've seen that one too. It definitely ranks third in these.
Yeah.
By far. I remember enjoying it, but it's been so long since I've seen it. I really want to watch it again. Give it another shot as far as like the overall humor and quality of it, because I remember I didn't like it as much as these. So I think I may have like knocked it down further than it deserved.
I can see that, especially if it's not a movie that you've actively seen more than once.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can quote I can probably speak Shaun of the Dead front to back, along with the movie. And I caught myself doing that with this one. And I was like, I should be writing these as notes and not just like quoting the movie along with it.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't have that experience with That World's End.
Yeah, I have it downloaded. I have it on one of my drives. I've seen it probably like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. Is like, am I giving it too much grief, like marking it way down below the other two?
Excuse me. No, I think you're pretty right on. I think Shaun is definitely their number one.
Yeah.
Hot Fuzz, after watching it, I think is definitely their number 2.
Yeah.
And At World's End, I think is their number 3.
For sure.
I would have to agree with that.
All right. Well, I'll definitely give it another shot, though, especially if we just do it on here. That'll make me.
Fuck yeah.
That'll give me a good excuse to watch it.
Yeah. A good excuse to watch it and have some refreshments.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Cool. Well, do you have any other, any final thoughts here?
No, man. This has been fucking fun. I'm looking forward to doing more and seeing what the hell we get into with this little series that we got started. Yes, so I'm excited, man. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm so glad we're going to do this. I'm glad that we're getting this first one out of the way. I kind of took over the whole timeline of the movie just because I took such thorough notes this time. But you love the movie, and I've only seen it once. So.
I mean, I was so excited. Yeah. So, I think this went really well. I'm really excited about it. I had a lot of fun. Do you have a movie in mind for the next one? Do you want to spoil it here?
Oh man, it kind of depends because like there's ones that I want to see that I don't know if the whole point of it obviously is that something that we've never seen.
Yeah, but I mean we could branch out of that as well. You know what I mean? Especially if it's something like I've seen it once. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is, like it could be like just one of my favorites and maybe you've seen it before, but like I love it and I want you to watch it through my eyes type shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it could be like that, or it could just be like neither of us have ever seen it, or just, I don't know, whatever the situation is. I feel like if we want to talk about it, there's probably an appropriate reason to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so too. To just be brutally honest, though, I don't have any one particular.
You don't have one picked out?
No, because I have so many that I want to do.
Yeah,
I want to make sure that I do start off one that I enjoy, that I am not sure if you've seen before or not.
Yeah,
but obviously we'll talk about it. But
yeah, absolutely.
Nonetheless, I'll still definitely want to watch something that you haven't seen because I want to see what your reaction is like watching movies.
Yeah,
from the jump.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think we could definitely just switch off 1-to-1. Yeah. Like I picked this one, you can pick the next one.
Yeah.
And we'll just keep going back and forth.
I think so too.
Cool. And with that, I think that's our first episode in the books. We'll throw a quick edit on this and get it out this week.
Hell yeah, man.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, everybody who listened to this, thank you so much. This is just an experiment. I mean, we're just having fun. We just want to do something different during this pandemic.
Yeah, to quote Chappelle, we're just fucking around.
And with that, we will see you guys on the next one.
That's right. See you guys.
Later, y'all.